Today on Attack of the Show.
Jak się masz? My name is Borat.
All right, he's made it to the big screen, but did Borat live up to the hype?
I like.
We'll find the answer in the loop. Nintendo is dropping old school on you, and Game Break is picking it up. And we grind away with the new Gears of War demo. All this and more on a live and scandalous Attack of the Show, starting right now.
Attack. What's going on here? Attack. Pick up on this. Attack. Attack of the Show. Attack.
Thank you! Yes!
That's right. I'm going to take an extra 5 seconds of this today. Just 5.
I'll count down. 1, 1,000.
And we're
2,
good.
1,000. I was done.
I overestimated. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to Attack of the Show, TV's only source for all the stuff you care about. It's November the 6th, and my name is Kevin Pereira.
Hey, everyone. I am Olivia Munn, and we are coming to you live from the G4 studios in L.A. Now, I don't mean to gloat.
Oh, sure you do. Gloat away, Mom.
Look, I'll just say it. We called it.
Yep.
Borat finally opened this weekend and was huge, bigger than anyone except for us expected.
Right.
We were the first to call it, I gotta say, right?
We had a whole special. We knew this thing was going to be big. We prepared a little half hour for your kids on Friday.
Yes.
Everybody loved the movie, of course. They knew it was going to be a hit. But the numbers, I mean,
ridiculous.
I'll be honest, even surprised me. 26 million. Pretty much every show sold out, everywhere this thing was in theaters, and today people were literally being turned away.
I know you said people on your MySpace page were going, I couldn't get in. And
People messaging me all week and going, hey, Kevin, you got a couple passes? I've been trying to get in for the last 3 days.
you know what we
Like,
say to
dude,
those
wait in
people?
line.
Yeah, if you loved it enough, you would have been waiting in line 3 days ago. Then you would have seen it.
All you need, 3-season tent and some Hot Pockets. You'll be fine.
It would have been worth it. With all the negative press, the controversy, Fox thought word of mouth was going to be bad. Middle America would hate it. So they actually cut the number of screens to something around 800. Now it looks like a genius movie. Borat was the hottest ticket in town, and Fox is losing a lot of money.
Yeah, well, they haven't lost it. I mean, the movie only cost them like 17 to make, but they perhaps lost potential to
That's
make
what I
more.
meant.
Yeah. Well, what I love most about the situation is that this proves the internet can work. I mean, really, online, this thing was hyped like crazy. So much hype, like even for you take a film like Snakes on a Plane, it opens up.
Huge. I mean, everyone was talking about it.
Right, but people were talking about it because they knew it was going to be bad. You know, it opens up and it tanked. But with something like this, people are excited for Borat. It comes out, it's a decent movie. Of course it does well.
Yeah. So, then the people who actually gave the movie its only buzz got blamed when the movie failed to deliver.
That was the worst.
Yeah. No, the lesson here is that internet hype works if it's a good movie.
If it's actually
a great movie. Because Snakes on a Plane, I remember everyone here was so excited about it. When I came here and I heard everyone was talking about that, everyone's really excited about this movie.
See, everybody was in on the Snakes on a Plane joke. I think that's why they wanted to hype it. But then you look at something like Borat, where the movie itself, they know it's going to be good, obviously.
Yeah.
Some people who didn't know about Borat, they were marketing to them as well, not just the core audience. And I think that's what made the difference. But of course, there's even more Borat to go around. HBO is rerunning the whole complete first and second season of the Ali G show. Yeah, and it also features Bruno, which is going to be the star of Sasha's next big movie. So. Which
you are really excited to see. Because,
I love Bruno.
I was watching you during the movie because you'd already seen the movie before, and I kept looking over to see if you would laugh as hard the second time around. And
I giggled a couple times.
You did, but you said you were actually more excited to see Bruno, which is the gay fashion
Yeah, he's a
guy.
fabulous fashion designer who goes around
fashion.
and the tight leather pants. I'm a fan. What are you gonna do?
Now, you guys, go online. If you saw this movie this weekend, you don't have to wait for the DVD to see some deleted scenes. Check out the one where he goes to an animal shelter. Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
Don't say anything else. And make sure you stick around later because we're going to have Borat's appearance on The Daily Show, which really provoked quite the reaction from the audience. It was a good
watched it, loved it. Now, Borat might be the biggest thing around at the moment, but in a couple weeks, his thunder will definitely be stolen. The release of 2 next-gen consoles are coming up faster than you can say, sexy time. Was that good? Did you like it? What was that?
That was almost an impression of my bad Borat impression.
Well, that's what
I do.
Good. I only do the my impression of Kevin Pereira doing the Borat impression.
Yeah.
Not good. I'm
Let's
sorry.
talk about consoles,
I apologize.
though. Let's move on to consoles. The PlayStation 3 is going to hit stores on the 17th, and the Wii will be available on the 19th. And, of course, we're going to bring you the latest news every single day. It's time, folks. Prepare for Console Wars 06 Live!
First up, I know, you love that,
The
don't
fancy high-tech G4 offices, man, monitoring these launches.
I love it. I love it. First up, you guys, easily the most anticipated game for the Wii launch is The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Now, GamePro got some dirt from Nintendo's George Harrison. He's the VP, not the Beetle, in case you were getting that confused.
Good of you to clarify.
He claims that the game will take around 70-plus hours to beat, far more than Wind Waker. And if that wasn't enough, there will be additional levels available to download once you've beaten it. Basically, say goodbye to loved ones, work, and active sex life. This game is going to be a real commitment. If you were, in fact, having
Okay, yeah. I mean, you're making
life.
the assumption that the gamers out there are having active sex
But
life.
70 hours!
Yeah.
You know, our executive producer, Jim, said it's totally worth it.
And I
he's
believe
really excited
for most people it will be. I'll be getting one the moment it launches.
Would you take
Absolutely.
70 hours to do it?
I've got nothing but spare time.
I know.
Sad.
That's sad. I
It's true.
set you up for that one.
No, but it's the truth. Next up, though, Engadget. They finally got their hands on a PlayStation 3, and they listed some facts that you might not know about the console. For example, you know, people are poking and prodding this thing like crazy, figuring out what does and doesn't work. USB keyboards and mice can be used, but no Bluetooth. No Bluetooth at this time, so you're going to be tethered. Now, if you want faster load times, you're going to have to install some game data on your hard drive for some of the games. In certain cases, though, you might have to download anywhere from 4 to 5 gigs of data off the Blu-ray disc onto the PS3.
Now, I got to ask you 2 questions about that. First of all, why no Bluetooth? I mean, I hate when they get something and they go, okay, well, now we've added all this cool stuff, but we've taken away the other cool stuff. No wireless, right?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, the controller themselves are wireless. The controllers are Bluetooth, and those work fine. But they just don't have the support for all the other devices yet. So they may get there, but coming out of the box, no wireless keyboard and mouse
That's great.
for you.
So they take that away, but give you something else.
A little bit.
And also adding the gigs to it, and it's another $100 if you want this, or 20 to 60.
Yeah, there are 2 different units, $4.99 and $5.99. And if you get the smaller one now, it sounds like if you got 2 or 3 launch titles on there that require 5 gigs of space, you're completely out of room for downloadable content.
So you you might as well just pay the extra 100.
You got to get the 60 gig drive version. You have to.
So why even get the $4.99?
That's because that might be all that's in stock, which is sad.
Gotcha. And finally, for launch day, Nintendo has some big plans when it unveils the Wii. Nintendo says that 4 million consoles will be available this year, though that might seem like a big number. Do not get lazy and skip pre-ordering. They are expecting to sell out fast. President Reggie Fils-Aimé will sell the first console himself at the Times Square Toys R Us. Official midnight launch events will be held in New York and in Los Angeles at City Walks, GameStop. And I got to ask him, why doesn't he just give it away at Toys R Us? Well, he says that he'll be at Toys R Us to charge you for it.
The first 14-year-old kid in line. So, is your parents here? Did they bring the MasterCard?
Sorry,
Tim. Crushed holiday season dreams for you, buddy.
I mean, he's like the VP, and hey, here, you can purchase it from me. You guys, this is just the beginning. We will be covering all the events, all the lines, and all the breaking stories every single day when we dive into Console Wars 06 Live.
Go to g4tv.com/AOTS for all the latest news as it hits. It's going to be right there. But right now, it's time for the only news that you need to know. So here's Layla Cayley and the feed headlines.
Thanks, guys. Here's what's coming up in the feed. First, the hottest ticket this weekend was Borat, plus the Hulk is getting a second chance at movie stardom. And when Guitar Hero comes to 360, you're still going to have to plug in. It's all coming your way in the feed. But first, back to you guys.
All right, we are live. I am a walking bag of pus, and right now it's time to talk with you and the army of monitor heads. Let's do it. You're infected.
What's up, AOTS? This is JR from Hawaii. I didn't get to see Borat over the weekend, and I was wondering if you guys felt that it lived up to all the hype.
I love the movie, and I'm recommending it to everyone. So yes, they delivered on the hype. Even an hour later, I was going, I love this moment, and then I go, wait, oh my God, I can't believe they did that.
You slowly start remembering, because there's like 3 or 4 moments in the movie that you cannot unsee. Once you see them, they're burnt into your brain.
Burned! I can picture it right now.
But then you start realizing, oh, there were other scenes. And I remember that little thing that happened there, and that little thing that happened there. I thought it was a bit overhyped towards the end, but it did not get in the way of my enjoyment of the film at all. I've seen it twice now. I'll definitely see it a third.
Definitely.
Good film.
It was great.
So this weekend, Borat exceeded all expectations at the box office, and for once, believe it or not, it appears that the overblown hype for a film has actually been warranted. But that's what we think. That's what the internet thinks. We want to know what you think.
Yes, now because we care, it is time for the poll question. Did Borat live up to the hype? Vote at our website, g4tv.com/AOTS, or text your vote to G4TXT. Kevin likes to do the pretend texting thing.
That's my text.
Do 44898 to vote and register for AOTS Live News Alert.
#send. All right, coming up later, if Pokemon gives you seizures, be careful. We've got the trailer for the over-the-top action thriller Smokin' Aces. It's like a kid with ADD on speed. You'll see.
We are just getting started here. Our ray guns are warmed and ready to blast further quality programming right into your living room. Buck Rogers has nothing on Kevin. See that? Talent.
That was my ray gun.
I know.
Is Borat the funniest movie ever made?
Yes, it's true.
We cut through the hype in the loop. And we've done the channel surfing for you. Get ready for the punchline.
It's Attack of the Show. Attack.
Welcome back to Attack of the Show. We are live and talking Borat. Before the break, we asked you, did Borat live up to the hype? Well, according to the Republic of Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan. Damn it, I can never get it. 65% of you believe Borat did indeed live up to the hype. Let's go on over to Kevin, who is number 4 prostitute in all of LA. You liked my Borat?
Kazakhstan? Or what is
Kazakhstan.
it? Okay, one of these years you'll get it. It's all right. Whew! Moviegoers turned out in force this weekend to witness the phenomenon of Borat firsthand. I mean, the comedy, it opened to over 26 million in a limited release. It fought off all the negative press, and it even attracted the audience that it was actually mocking. So why did Borat succeed where others have failed? High five! It's The Loop. Seriously. Here it is. Joining us tonight from Los Angeles, film critic for USA Today, Scott Bowles, is back for more punishment, and managing editor of Variety, Michael Spire. Gentlemen, welcome to The Loop.
Thank you.
Of course, we have to talk Borat because who isn't these days? And Michael, I live in a bit of a bubble here, so everybody that I know was totally excited for this film. They knew what they were getting themselves into. They bought into the Borat hype. Was there anybody out there, though, aside from my little Los Angeles bubble, that underestimated Borat, that didn't think it would perform?
Yeah, a lot of people in Hollywood, and there's always a lot of naysayers who think that no movie can live up to the hype, and we're always flooded with so many movies during the summer and that kind of big movie season kind of movies that never do live up to the hype.
What led them to believe that, though? Because it seemed like, at least from my perspective, it seemed like everybody was talking about it. Everybody wanted more Borat. Why were they so scared?
Well, a lot of people don't think that any movie can be as funny as it is. I mean, you got to remember that there has been a death of sitcoms on television, and now even in the movies, there aren't that many funny movies anymore. So for a movie to be claimed to be the funniest movie ever, and all those promo ads that have run, it was hard for a lot of people to imagine that it's that funny, but indeed, the responses are great. This is a movie that's a huge hit, and it's just expanding next week, so it's going to be even bigger.
Well, Scott, I know that, I'm not one of those people out there that says you can't be funny, because I know here on Attack of the Show, we make the single most hilarious, entertaining television show every day live. But when it comes to Borat, what did you think? Was this the funniest movie ever? Did it warrant that kind of hype?
I don't think it was the funniest movie of the year. I didn't think it was as funny as Little Miss Sunshine. I did think it was one of the scariest movies of the year. I mean, you look at what people are willing to say on camera in a very public venue. To me, it was pretty frightening stuff, and that was what was so canny about Borat, was that for all the pratfalls, for all the jokes, what he was really getting at was the ignorance and the prejudice of people. It was much scarier than any of the horror films this year. I actually don't think it lived up to its hype in terms of the humor. When I talk to people, they say they enjoyed it, but what they were really stunned by was what people were willing to say on camera. I found it to be a pretty terrifying film.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that you don't see movies like this at all, really. So we have someone new to focus on, and the news shows have someone new to write about, because we've had the Farrelly Brothers, we've had the Jim Carrey kind of movies, the Robin Williams movies, and now someone new, a new character and something unique. It's reality film, really, because that's what it is.
Well, and I loved it because it was reality film. Like, one of my favorite aspects, of course, was the social commentary, and that's why, Scott, I got to ask, is it fair to compare it to A Little Miss Sunshine when there's such completely different types of humor?
Well, it's fair in that they're both comedies, and Fox is pitching it as a funny film. Really, it's fair to compare it to a Jackass, to one of these movies that have the guerrilla-style filmmaking. It's half scripted, half spontaneous. they're selling it as a comedy, so it needs to be measured against other comedies. But you're absolutely right. I mean, this is an unusual film. This is the reason it did well, because this is not the type of film that we're used to, at least from Hollywood.
Michael, do you think they're selling it as a comedy because Fox can't come out and say, I mean, we saw how they buried Idiocracy, which was really scathing commentary and a very funny film. Are they selling it as a comedy simply because they're too scared, or they don't think audiences will get it if they say this is biting social commentary with a couple pratfalls and fart jokes?
They're letting two things do the talking. One is when you have his face with that mustache and that accent, what else is it going to be? It's not going to be a romantic comedy. So it's going to be a comedy, and that's how they're selling it. What they're smart about, Fox, the distributor, is they're letting the news divisions do the talking, because they have a lot of news shows that are talking about Borat as a meaningful Lenny Bruce kind of film, a film that talks about differences in countries and the hatred of America and things like that. So what they're doing is letting the film marketing unit do its job and saying, look, it's a funny movie because you have a guy talking about chickens and prostitutes, but then you also have the news shows talking about how serious and important this movie is, and you can't do better than that when it comes to marketing or publicity.
Right. Well, Scott, they cut the amount of theaters that this was going to be in. We've talked about it. They launched somewhere around 800. At the end of this week, it's going to be in almost triple the amount of theaters. Do we think it's going to perform well? Will the hype carry over, or will these be theaters where people who weren't interested in seeing Borat weren't going to go anyways?
I think Fox is going to end up looking really smart here in a way that New Line wasn't with Snakes on a Plane. They withheld it just enough. The buzz peaked at the right time. People are talking about it this week. Fox is pretty confident that their weekend haul is going to be bigger this coming weekend than what it opened at. And I think they're going to look pretty smart here. But it's going to die relatively quickly. If you watch the net now, people are beginning to get a little tired of Borat. This is a community that doesn't have a lot of patience for buzz. They're peaking at the right time. I think you're going to see a bigger second weekend and then a pretty quick drop-off.
Then it'll taper off. All right, now, Michael, a lot of people were left scratching their heads last week. NBC Universal pays $42 million for the rights to the next Sacha Baron Cohen film. Now, this is based on Bruno, who's a character that doesn't, I think, have the pull or the same recognition as a Borat. You know, will the success of Borat propel him and that film's going to be fine, or are people going to be over it by the time this thing actually hits theaters?
Ironically, what's a major success story about Borat is that it was bought for so little, and it's such a guerrilla-style filmmaking that you can make a ton of money on it because it wasn't a very expensive project. So here's another studio, Universal, coming in and buying something for $42 million. Do I think it's not prudent and relatively smart? Probably, because it's a lot of money and you just never know. However, if this is a town built on striking while the iron's hot and getting the most famous person of the moment, if you're going to spend $42 million, why not do it on Sacha Baron Cohen? Because
Scott, what do you think?
Right now he's the man.
$42 million, is it a wise move?
$42 million really isn't that much now in terms of Hollywood and comedies. You look at something like Evan Almighty, a comedy that's going for more than $200 million. This is still a comedy on the cheap. I think Universal is going to make some money, not as much as Fox, but $42 million isn't that much by Hollywood standards today.
All right, it's going to be interesting to see how this does on DVD as well. I think people discount that fact that, you know, everybody's going to want Borat. They're going to want the extra footage. I think it's going to do incredibly well. And I want to thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today at the old digital water cooler and keeping us in the loop. You know, analysts are sure to puzzle over why Borat succeeded, you know, where others like Snakes on a Plane and Superman Returns, they obviously failed. But in the end, it comes down to Borat actually being a great movie that really everyone can enjoy. I mean, not every film will devote 5 minutes to a pair of naked wrestling Kazakhstanis. Again, thanks to our guests, Scott and Michael, for keeping us all in the Borat loop. But right now, we're going to go over to Miss Olivia. She's my sister.
Thanks, Kev. Today we are bringing you Tuesday's biggest music releases. It is time again to attack this. First up, the Foo Fighters' first live CD ever hit stores on Tuesday. Skin and Bones strips the group of their electric instruments for a 15-song acoustic set. Fans should also pick up their concert DVD due out at the end of November. But for now, download the acoustic version of My Hero. Next, Old Dirty Bastard is back from the dead with a Sun Unique. This is ODB's second posthumous release after an accidental drug overdose in 2004. For this final studio album, ODB teamed up with some amazing talent, including Pharrell Williams, Missy Elliott, and Macy Gray. Download Back in the Air featuring Wu-Tang's Ghostface Killah. Dredge, one of Kevin's favorite bands, has a new concert album live at the Fillmore. On it, Dredge performs their underrated experimental music with the help of a hacked speak and spell. There's lots to like on this one, but download Ode to the Sun. And finally, Bowling for Soup's album, The Great Burrito Extortion Case, is exactly what would happen if you put Weird Al and Simple Plan into a blender on puree for a few seconds. It's music that will make you feel proud to be a nerd, and, well, we love it. Download High School Never Ends. That's today's music. Visit g4tv.com/AOTS for links to everything I just mentioned. Still ahead, we've got Gears of War, and we're going to play the game live and show you what's in store on one of the most anticipated games ever. And we've got the funniest stuff on the tube this week, including Borat's performance and appearance on The Daily Show with an all-new punchline. You're watching TV's only source for all the stuff you care about.
Attack of the show. Attack.
Welcome back to Attack of the Show, TV's only source for all the stuff you care about. We are live and seriously considering having a laugh track following us in our personal lives, just makes me feel better.
Especially the inappropriate times.
You have a lot of those, don't you?
Sexy times. Now,
What?
no, back to
Laugh
there.
track.
Back to there.
Laugh track.
Thank you. Now, TV is full of political hotheads, 24-hour news nonsense, and mindless reality shows. Good comedy is few and far between. But luckily for you, we found the funniest clips on TV last week, and we're serving them up fresh. Here's the punchline.
Get your punches right.
I'm a formerly trained
It's
stunt
a
artist.
delayed and up. This weekend, the world was talking about one man, no, not Kevin Pereira, Borat. If you didn't see our special on Friday, well, then you missed out. But the man himself joined Jon Stewart last week to talk about the movie.
L'chaim. What? L'chaim, it's a Yiddish phrase, a Jewish phrase meaning, you know, to life.
To laugh on the Jew. We laugh on the Jew.
No.
L'chaim.
To life, it's a positive, it's an affirmation, it's a good thing.
To life, to us, to death to the Jew.
No, that's... I'm also a Jew, so I mean I would find that actually not a.
John, not phased at all, not upset
No.
by the anti-Semitism there. I like that.
No. Well, he does live in a world where Mel Gibson lives down the street from him, so
This is true.
he's probably
He's the
used
king.
to it. In all of these interviews, he is so angry about the Jews, and I love, actually, when I watched him, I had no idea he hated Jews so much, and no one has really reacted at all, which is a little surprising, and I guess everyone isn't on the joke, but someone might want to check with the producers at Hannity and Combs on Fox News to make sure that they actually get it.
Yeah, Holmes sat down with the Kazakh reporter, and he tried to get a serious interview going, so this is what he got instead.
Could you ever see Kazakhstan becoming a democracy?
What?
Yes.
Kazakhstan is very much democracy.
Elected leaders?
Yes.
The electorate people vote for who gets in on a regular basis? Open election?
Not so much. We have, instead of the leader winning who have the most votes, it is the leader who can carry a woman against her will for the longest amount of time.
I say, you call that a democracy?
Yes.
I see.
We have open and free elections. Our next election is in 2041.
Actually sounded frustrated that Borat seems to consider this a real democracy, which was nice.
I'm assuming that someone from Fox News would consider this fair and balanced, but I'm actually still trying to figure out how that's possible. I mean, what's next? Like interviews with James Bond? And I love how he sat there with his paper as if they were real. He's like, so you call that a democracy?
Hold on a second. Let me check that off here. I've been doing my research.
I know, as if he was a real
But how
journalist.
sweet would that be if it were like the world's strongest mans were actually how we voted? Like, you know,
I know.
I'd rather, instead of punch cards and diebold voting errors, I'd rather see like them do like the big stone
Kevin,
challenge.
do you think that you could pick me up? I mean, seriously.
Well, that's why I'm not in politics.
True. Now, speaking of jokes, the Trinity Broadcasting Network has a great show about all things Christian and moral called Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord!
Thank you, Kevin. Not much more needs to be said once you see the host, but listen to what she has to say about messages written to the poor, starving children of Africa.
Great.
And then Ed and Ella put a little tag on it in French, Creole. We've had them made in Indonesian, in Chinese, in Russian, in all the languages of the world, Spanish, and Klasa. They went to South Africa. I don't know how you write, but you do. They know how to write that.
Wow.
Oh, that's so good.
How ignorant can
I don't
you
know
be?
how they write all that crazy clicking, but they know how. They're smart over there.
Freaking racist.
Yeah. You want to comment on that one?
God is not happy with her right now.
I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole.
No, neither am I. I'm not touching you either. You're sicky.
Sorry.
Now stay with us, and if you guys don't, there's a good chance you're going to have a large rodent problem in the very near future. Believe me, I had a nasty rat, caught it, it's dead. We'll be right back. Kevin, don't ever lick me again.
The news buffet is open. Sit down and enjoy the feed. And it's a blast from the past on Game Break.
Hey guys, I was wondering if you're looking forward to Guitar Hero 2, what song are you most excited to play? Personally, me, I'm looking forward to playing the Trogdor song.
Trogdor! Is that you? Is that your answer too?
That's me on the whammy. I'm totally looking forward to Trogdor. There's so many good songs in Guitar Hero 2. I can't wait.
They really, you know, the first time I played, or I was really around Guitar Hero, was at Best Buy.
Right.
I played a few times, then on the show, and I'm not as good as I would like to be, but after I went to your house and watched Kevin, I was sitting on the couch, and all I see is this. And when he's done, he turns around like this.
Don't hide it behind the podium.
Well,
The adult swimmers love it when you.
No, Kevin turned around with such accomplishment, and I really felt like I felt a lot of pride coming from you, and that now I want to join. I got to get myself my PS2 and get my Guitar
When you
Hero.
rock Freebird on Expert, you'll know exactly.
Yeah, I'm
exactly
very
how it
excited.
feels. Carry On My Wayward Son, by the way, is just awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to play it. Our friend Kyle, though, just got an Attack of the Show T-shirt. And so can you. Look at that. If you send us, just send in a question. If we use it, you'll be sporting this new shirt. Perfect for rocking out on the Guitar Hero, although I prefer naked and just rocking it. Sometimes strapless, too. Go to g4tv.com/video voicemail and send us a question. Please, get it in there. Welcome back to the show, though, folks. We are live and heard a nasty rumor about you. It's time to get a new lunch table.
Hey, you guys. No. Don't worry. I'm still your friend. You can sit with me and eat with me.
Of course.
I always had to eat by myself, so I welcome everybody. Yeah. Hey, you guys, later, actually, you can sit with me at my lunch table, and I'm actually going to give you a treat. We are going to show you the brand new trailer for Smokin' Aces, Guns, Vegas, Lesbian Assassins, Jeremy Piven. Yeah, you're going to want to watch that.
Yeah, but right now, it's time for the only news you need to know in the feed.
Thanks, guys. I'm Layla Kaylee, and it's time to start the feed. Despite a limited number of theaters and a lot of negative press, Borat ruled the box office this weekend. The controversial comedy blew away the competition with an estimated $26.4 million, while the family film Santa Claus 3 and Flushed Away took in $20 and $19 million respectively. Borat dominated every theater it was booked in as well, taking in over $30,000 per screen, well over 6 times what the other films had. Look for big numbers this weekend when Borat expands to 2,200 theaters. Many fans were disappointed with the Hulk feature film, and now Marvel is trying to make amends. Newsarama is reporting that the Hulk will get a do-over, and behind the camera will be Unleashed director Louis Leterrier and writer of X2 and X3 Zach Penn. There has been talk of it being a reboot more than a sequel, and casting rumors have ranged from Prison Break star Dominic Purcell to Agent Mulder himself, David Duchovny. Marvel has stated the release date is June 27, 2008. The Xbox 360 is getting Guitar Hero next year, but unlike your controllers, you're gonna need a wire for your axe. Despite wireless guitars being available for the PlayStation versions, Microsoft will not allow it on their console. The technology is proprietary, which means that no third-party wireless gear can be produced. Sorry guys, looks like you'll have to be connected to your equipment like real musicians. The US government has a new stance on abstinence. If you're single, don't have sex until you're 30. For next year's government-funded abstinence programs, teens aren't the only target. Now they're going after adults under 30, since almost 1 million unmarried women from the age of 20 to 29 had children in 2004. That was the highest of any age group. At least 50 million will be put towards the effort. So once you hit 30, have yourself a nice XXX throwdown. And finally, we have a G4TV.com world exclusive. Wolfgang Van Halen is about to become the coolest kid around. we've just got the first official confirmation from Van Halen's publicist that the 15-year-old son of founder Eddie Van Halen is now officially a part of the band. Wolfgang is writing and recording with his father and uncle and is their new bassist. The Prodigy will even go on tour with them next year. For more info, check out our blog at g4tv.com/thefeed. Well, that's all for today. You can now get The Feed to go on your iPod. Visit the iTunes store or go to g4tv.com/podcast and click on iTunes Podcast to subscribe. Now, you've just been fed. Back to you.
Got a little sicky here.
All right.
Oh, you want thermometer? The old school way? A little bit later. Thanks, Layla. Now, when we come back, we are stealing a map of the universe and floating through time like midgets in a Gilliam movie. You are watching TV's only source for all the stuff you care about. Don't do that.
The old school goes new school only on Game Break. And we fire away at the new Gears of War demo. The Feed is brought to you by Tag Body Spray for Guys. Consider yourself warned.
What's going on here?
Attack of the Show. Attack.
Welcome back to Attack of the Show, TV's only source for all the stuff you care about. We are live and throwing it over to Kevin, who's doing his very best Tron impersonation.
Today is Monday, and that can mean only one thing. It's time to make sense of the gaming stories that matter the most. It's time for a game break. Joining me today are two of G4's video game experts. It says it on their business cards.
Thanks.
Yeah. I know, it pains Adam to hear it, but you are an expert in the field.
Yes, and I have one of those Action X's an expert, too.
You actually happen to be the hosts of X-Play.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
As well?
Expert X-Play.
Folks, Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb, thank you for joining us for this little game break
You're
here.
so welcome.
All right, let's
Happy
get
to
into
be
this.
here. Okay.
We've got to get the big Katamari ball rolling. Now, Nintendo recently announced that 32 Wii games are expected to be available in the North American region by the end of December 2006. Now, in addition to the first offerings for the Wii's Virtual Console, which were announced, 30 titles in all, ranging from classic old-school Mario Brothers to Bonk's Adventure for the TurboGrafx 16. Are we excited about the Virtual Console? Is it a selling point? Or is
Very
it all
excited
still
about the virtual. Of course, it's a selling point. Everybody wants to play Super Mario Brothers, the old Zelda, the Donkey Kong, the Sonic the Hedgehog is going to be available.
Now, why we want to be excited to play ice hockey, baseball, and pinball? It's like with all those good games out there, like there is a little bit of like 1985 shovelware that you can also find in the mid.
Why do you think they're doing that? Do we think there's a decent reason? Because they do have a huge back library of games.
Those are probably the easiest ones to transport. You know, they wanted to have so they can say we have this many games coming out at launch, so it just kind of rounds out the whole package.
I think also if they don't do them all, if they do all the good ones at once, you might not buy the next group later on.
Sure.
And maybe they're spending time making some online components like more robust in some of the games.
Okay, all right.
No, don't quote me on that because I don't know if that's true.
but it'd be nice.
But it would be nice.
Super Mario 64 is going to be one of them, which could mean that can once again be the best game of 2006.
All right. Finally, viewers at home, take note. X-Play will be airing immediately after Attack of the Show. That's this thing you're watching right now. Starting today, and from what I hear in today's episode, you guys are taking a look at Clover Studios' latest, God Hand?
Yes. It's a neat game.
I heard it was polarizing at best, that you either love it or you're mortified by
It has a quirky sense of humor, questionable at times. You have Chihuahua races. You have
what?
Chihuahua races
in my fighting game.
And there's a gorilla dressed up in a Mexican wrestler mask.
Extreme homosexual stereotypes. Yeah,
it's funny. Good times. Good times.
It is a good game.
And if you have a PS2, which a lot of people already do, why not put it to use? Why not keep using it? Why not one last game?
It looks like it's a lot less than what it is. It looks like your typical brawler, but it has so many clever things in it, and that's probably not the kind of game people are looking for at the end of the life cycle of a console. But it's
what about the end of a game development studio? This was their swan song. Is this a good note to go out on?
I think Okami was a better note, but it is a pretty good note. I would like to know the real story behind Clover shutting down because it's a shame.
Well, maybe that'll be next week's game break. We can get to the bottom of that.
Do a little research, a little investigative reporting.
Days, my friends. All right, thank you guys for joining us. I really appreciate it. That wraps it up for today's game break. And if you want to see even more of Adam and Morgan without me, it'll be a lot better. Check out brand new episodes of X-Play in prime time starting tonight right after Attack of the Show, so you can watch as X-Play goes interactive with viewer video commentary, live on-screen chat, and real-time polling. So make sure you check it out. It's coming up next. You don't have to do any work. Just sit there and watch your TV. And for more information, check out g4tv.com/xplay.
When we come back, we've got the highly anticipated sci-fi shooter, Gears of War, and we are going to play it live. See? We really are TV's only source for all the stuff you care about. Welcome back to Attack of the Show live, and at this exact second, ruling your life like nobody else.
That's true. Today we're taking a look at Gears of War. It's one of the most anticipated video game releases of the year. Some actually say maybe ever. Even bigger than Halo 2, which is... That's a pretty tall order, but I believe it. I bought into the hype.
Everyone's really excited around here about it.
Well, it's delivering, and that's why. In fact, we're about to demo the Xbox 360 masterpiece. It's from the creator Cliff Bleszinski, and of course all of Epic Games.
Cliffy B, it's like what we like to call him, right?
Yeah,
Cliffy B.
When he's chilling in his rabbit suit, chewing on straw.
Okay, the game won't be shipped out until tomorrow, so we are here to give you a taste to hold you over, or maybe make the wait worse. I'm not quite sure.
This, if you're watching this and you've been anticipating this is going to make the wait even harder. So we've been talking about Gears for a long time. I played it all over the weekend. I completely destroyed the game.
Really?
It's incredible.
How long did it take you to defeat it?
Well, now on easy, it's maybe a 7-hour game if you're just plugging through it, which some people are going to freak out and say, oh, that's short.
Well, what did you start on?
I played it on easy to start off, just to really get a feel of it. Then I went back immediately after beating it and started playing it on normal, you know, the brutal difficulty or whatever. The game is much slower and much more difficult on the normal setting. So it's a completely different experience.
And you were able to dominate then?
Well, I'm an expert gamer. I think the average gamer, your general consumer, is going to have about 11 to 12 hours of playtime on this one, on normal.
And that's how long it took you to do the mid-level one?
Yeah, that's how long it's going to take most people, I think, to beat like the standard difficulty level. But let's not forget there's also multiplayer. So this game is infinitely replayable online.
Yeah.
So the single player side is one thing, but of course, you know, I played it by myself. I'm a lonely person, don't have a lot of friends. But then
I'm your friend.
Someone did stop by when they found out I had Gears of War. They came on by. They're like, "What's this game? I want to play it." So we fired up co-op, and I think it really is one of the big aspects of this game, a huge selling point.
Well, another big thing is that as how real the game looks. You know, it's when you watch it, it's actually like you're in war. It almost feels like you can reach into your TV screen and touch the things that you're seeing right there. And Kevin, I actually think that I'm sick of talking about this. I just want to play.
Want to try it out?
Is that how you start every time like this?
Yeah, I pretend that the controller's motion sensitive.
You do.
Like a PS3.
It's like the Wii. No.
I'm all ready to play now. No, okay, so we got co-op running. We've got two systems.
And I haven't played this before, but I'm playing with an expert, so I should be okay.
I will guide you through this.
We're
going to be
playing co-op,
fine.
so you should be there to protect me.
I will not be shooting you in the face.
Okay,
I promise.
sounds good.
All right, so we're going to get this going now. There's no split screen because we're doing you know, 2 different units, but I even played it split screen this weekend, and it's still enjoyable. I can't say enough about this game. So let's get it fired up here. We're midway through the first level here, so you're going to want to take cover by pressing A. Super intuitive system of stop and pop gameplay, as Cliffy B describes it.
Now I got to ask you about stop and pop. Is that? I mean, I know Cliffy B came up with that term. Now, is that an actual term, or is it just something he comes up with to make the game sound unique?
Yeah, you know what? I called him out on that at first.
Come on.
I said stop and pop was how I described my tours through sorority houses.
Okay. I just died. I need you to come relieve me.
Well, that's the only disappointing thing is that if you die in battle, now you have to wait for 7 hours while I beat the rest of the game.
That's not true. You can come over and give me more life, Kevin.
Yes, all right. So I see you. You're down there in the middle. I'm taking cover. I'm going to try and fire blindly to kind of ward off some of these guys here.
But the thing is, they were right in my face, and I was trying to get... Is that when I should have switched to, like, maybe a handgun instead of, you know...
You should melee. We don't have the chainsaw yet. Here we go. I'm going to bring you back to life. Boom, you're up. I revived you.
Now
now we're back into the battle.
Okay.
And it's all about cover. I mean, we're playing it on easy right now, but if this were on normal, I would have died as well, because I popped right out there. I ran completely exposed. What's great is I just did something called active reload, which is a simple little feature, but it adds so much to the gameplay. And when you press the right bumper to reload, a little progress bar pops up in the upper corner. And if you time it just right, here, I'll do it. I'm going to fire a little bit. If you look in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, reload starts, boom. I timed it right, and now I get a bonus. I reload quicker, and my bullets actually do more damage.
Now, I gotta ask you, earlier in the game when I died, I was attacked by a lot of different people. Do you have a strategy for going against big groups of people like that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a co-op scenario, obviously you can have one person go and kind of like take the flank and really nice little roll there.
Yeah, you like that?
You're just
so excited.
You're diving around willy-nilly. I like that. No, you can always take a flank, and I can say I'm going to go left or I'm going to go right here. You keep them distracted. But if you're playing with with computer-controlled bots, keep them alive so they draw the fire. That's really the only thing you can do. You're just marching right in there, aren't you?
Yeah. That's what I do, and
Did you get,
that's what happened.
Okay, now I'm going to cut.
I need you to come back and get me.
Look at the use of the camera here. Like, watch when I'm not going to worry about dying.
I love this.
I'm going to hide, take a little cover. Look at how easy it is.
It's amazing how, like, seriously.
Look at how it can jump from structure to structure just by pressing A. I mean, it keeps it super simple. And watch the camera shake as I run.
Yeah.
See how it gets low and it starts shaking around? It's like a totally active camera.
It's completely like first-person point of view. I mean, you're really right in there with it.
It totally draws you into the game.
Now, I got to ask you, which is your favorite weapon to use? Because right now we're on I'm on a machine gun.
This is only I'm going to pause the game here, all right, so we're done. That was only the first level.
Fun.
That was just after the tutorial. The action's already there. But my favorite weapon by far is one that Cliff fought to get in the game, and it's a chainsaw bayonet. So you've got an assault rifle, then you press B for melee. It fires up the chainsaw, and you go and you actually rip into someone's chest. Blood flies on the screen.
Well, if I knew I could do that, I would have used that and not have died.
It's the next level. Next level.
Aww.
Just had to get through one more.
That was awesome. Thanks so much for helping me.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a sweet game. Don't worry, our Gears of War coverage does not end here. You got to tune in tomorrow. I'm going to be chatting with the game's creator, Cliffy B.
Cliffy B.
We go back. I'm going to turn the screws. He'll be here in studio live to discuss all things Gears of War.
So much fun, Kev. And there is so much more, you guys. We will also have a roundtable discussion tomorrow regarding this highly anticipated video game and our very own digital water cooler. We like to call it the Loop.
Yeah, they like to call it that too.
Do they?
Still coming up, everyone wants to kill Jeremy Piven, even Ben Affleck.
Wow.
We've got the brand new trailer for Smokin' Aces on TV's only source for all the stuff you care about.
If you haven't been watching Attack of the Show, this is what you're missing.
I also can suspend the car battery from my testing satchel for almost 2 seconds.
For more info, go to g4tv.com/AOTS.
Attack of the Show. Attack.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We live, and we know you jealous.
Yes, we played Gears of War today, but don't worry, we've got more good stuff on the horizon.
Coming up tomorrow, Gears creator Cliffy B will be dropping by the studio and will break down the game in the loop.
We'll also be taking a trip inside Monster House in an all-new DVD-Doozy, and, of course, I'll go in your pants to tell you whether or not casual encounters on Craigslist is a good idea.
And finally, we've got the new trailer for the out-of-control action movie, Smokin' Aces.
Yes, it stars Jeremy Piven, Ryan Reynolds, Ben Affleck, and Alicia Keys. Check it out.
Buddy is real. No former witness against the mob has been as crucial as Buddy. Aces is real.
He's a strung out, washed up, has-been, jerk, snitch, 7-layer loser.
What are you trying to say? What's the rate? $1 million. $1 million hit fee would draw some huge flies. He's not only essential to our case, he is our case.
They're gonna pour boxes of bullets in Israel.
They must not succeed.
When do we get consigned?
If an attempt is made on his life, it'll be made by those of the strictest professional caliber.
Yeah, all right, I'm there.
You there?
I'm there.
Sounds good. Now, you guys, for all the things you saw today and more, go to g4tv.com/AOTS.
But don't change the channel or fire up the PC just yet. X-Play is coming up next, everybody. So just sit there and
Sit
watch.
down, please.
Pretty colors coming. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.